you ready?
Yep. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Glenn Miller. I'm Head of Student Services here at York College. Thanks for tuning in to this presentation. I'm going to talk about student transport at York College. But before I do so, just to say that as Head of Student Services, I'd like to make you aware of all the other support that we offer. And there's some examples of it here. All of our services are confidential and free to all students, so we offer emotional support such as counselling, mental health advice, practical support through our intensive personal advisors, funding support around bursaries, fee remission, etc., which includes support for travel costs coming to college, as well as other essential course costs. The careers team, who offer advice on all things careers related to UCAS applications, going to university, going on into employment, etc. Obviously transport and health, staying safe, and much more. You can access the team through the info zone or the help zone, or you can visit the student services pages on the website. So just to make you aware of all that before we focus on transport. Okay, so for a lot of people, the deal breaker of whether or not they can come to college often is the transport. And we get students travelling from all areas of the region. So what we've done is we've created 15 coach routes of our own, which are operated by York Pullman and Proctor's Coaches. And they provide a direct service to and from the college, one journey in, one journey out per day during term time. I won't go through all the different routes now, but if you have any questions, you can put them through to us via the chat option, and we'll try and answer them all at the end if possible. But what I would suggest is if you visit the college website and look up student transport, you can link on to a map and timetables and ticket information, etc., for all of those college routes. When they come into college, they'll drop you off in the bus lane at the entrance to the college above the car park, and that's where you get the bus home on an evening. Once college finishes, you go and wait there and they come and pick you up and take you home. All of the coaches are what we call PSVAR, which is Public Service Vehicle Accessibility Regulations compliant, which means that all of them have wheelchair access. Okay, so how do you pay for usage on the bus? How do you access a seat on the bus? First of all, there's no need to actually book a place on the college bus. You just turn up and get on. We always look at the numbers to make sure we have the right capacity coaches, but as the college will not be operating at full capacity in September anyway, there should be enough spaces for everybody. What we are doing is following the same government advice as public service buses, where there is no social distancing as such on the buses, but everybody has to wear a face covering, but we'll talk about that later. If your household income is under £25,000, then you could potentially qualify for a bursary, which I mentioned earlier, and that does offer support with travel costs, including the cost of college tickets. Now, we haven't put prices up this year. There's a list of prices online, but one of the changes this year is because of the uncertainty around social distancing, etc., and government rules changing in the future, and the impact it's having on timetables. We've decided that we're only going to offer online single and weekly tickets to begin with this year. We're not going to offer annual and monthly passes like we did last year at the beginning of term. We'll review that as we go, but at the moment you can get single and weekly tickets online. If you're a bursary student, you'll get an online pass. Now, you can purchase those weekly and daily tickets via our website. There's an online shop on there. You can access that from the top right hand corner of the homepage of the college website. Obviously, there's a lot of concern around using public transport. Now, all of our coaches are used by students only. And like I said earlier, we're following the same rules as public service buses. Now, we have assurances from the coach companies that all of the coaches are cleaned every day when they get back to the depot. And they're also fogged every 28 days with a specialist chemical which sits on surfaces and kills bacteria and viruses for up to 28 days. So the coach companies take care of all that on our behalf. All of the drivers will either be sat behind a perspex screen or will be wearing PPE equipment or both. And we're going to be sectioning off the first few rows, which will be left empty. Face coverings must be worn on all college routes, and there's different options on what you can use. As you can see there, masks, bandanas, scarves, but it must cover your nose and mouth. Please leave space where you can, and hand sanitizer will be provided as you get on all of the buses. And obviously, if you think you've got any symptoms, we advise you not to travel in. Now, in terms of accessing information on buses and keeping up to date, we do have a Twitter page, and you can access that at YC Travel Updates on there. And you can also use that page to get in touch with us and report any problems, whether it's around behaviour or buses not picking you up or being late or anything like that. Any issues that you have, please let us know. We want to make it as good an experience as possible, and we rely on the students to let us know if there's any issues that we need to address. All the terms and conditions of travel are on the transport pages, and I would recommend you read them before you use the service. And again, like I say, if you witness damage or bad behaviour, please report it, and we'll look into that. Those 15 routes generally try to cover all areas not covered by public transport. However, a lot of local services do stop outside the college or nearby. And there are a number of student savers available on those buses. So depending on where you live, you might be able to access cheaper tickets by going on the website of the relevant bus. So whether it's First York, Coastliner, Reliance or Connections, they all have some kind of student discount available. Go on their websites and have a look into that. And some local authorities, North Yorkshire County Council, City of York Council, do offer travel passes as well. If you have to travel by train, you might want to look into whether or not it's worth getting a 16 to 25 rail card. You get a third off most fares for a cost of £30 a year, but bear in mind you'd have to check with British Rail whether it covers the times that you're travelling, because it's not necessarily all day that you're covered for that reduction. More information's on our website, but also there's a really good website, www.itravelyork.info. If you go on that website, they've got a wide raft of information based on travel in the area, whether it's local transport, cycling, etc. It's all on there. And you can also log on there and get information on something called a YOzone card, which is free to anyone who is 16 to 18 who is living or studying in York. So as long as you're studying here at the college, you could access that card. It's free. There's a website that you can apply on. That's on our website transport pages as well. If you apply for that, you'll get a card, and that gives you a discount on a wide range of buses in and around the York area, but also at a number of retail outlets as well. If you're travelling by car, please note the following. This is a permit-only parking site monitored by an external company, and there are parking fines for parking illegally outside the parking bays or without a ticket or a permit. Generally speaking, you must have held a full driving licence for at least 12 months in order to qualify for a permit. But if there's a reason you think you should have one, and you haven't passed your test more than 12 months ago, you would need to put some kind of appeal in writing to the college, and we'll look at that to see if we can make you exempt. Now, the annual permit is £72 for a car, £50 for a motorbike, but you can also get occasional use permits for £5, which allow you to park for £1 a day. So make sure you know which one of those is going to best suit you based on the number of days that you're going to be in. You can get them from the Estates Help Desk or online via the maps and directions pages of the website. If you are driving as well, you must not drive in the bus lane. If you do, you may be liable to a £60 fine, and obviously don't park inconsiderably around the college. And bear in mind, if you park in a Tesco's, you're only allowed 3 hours if you park there. What we would encourage students to do where possible, if you can, if it's feasible to walk or cycle to college, we'd recommend that. There's a lot of cycle networks around college. We've got some maps of those on the website, and we also have 500 secure cycle spaces on site, many of which are covered. And again, visit the iTravel website for more information on that, including maps, guides, and other information. That's it from me in terms of transport. I've tried to keep it brief. I believe we haven't had any questions, so I'm hoping that's answered any queries you might have had. Thanks for listening. Good luck with everything, and if you go away from this and have any more questions, please do get in touch. All the information's on the website. Drop us an email if you've got anything specific that applies to you, and we'll do our best to answer your question. Thanks very much and good luck. Thank you.